vote buying and also
vote selling.
vote selling. So, ano ba yung vote buying and vote selling? Madalas ang sinasabi natin yung vote buying or selling is yung bumibili ka ng...
Baba na natin kasi
Yan, vote
nakikita
buying.
yung nakikita yung paggiling ng kamay natin. So, yung vote buying, Attorney April, ano lang ba yan kapag binili ko yung boto mo ng pera, vote buying?
Hindi lang yun. Marami pang actually forms of vote buying.
Ano?
Hindi lang pwedeng bumili ka ng pera, pwedeng nag-promise ka ng posisyon, no, sa government or any form of employment. Hindi nga lang binigay mo, pwedeng just the act of promising na pag binoto mo ko, no, i-employ ko, may trabaho ka sa gobyerno, pag nanalo ko, vote buying na rin yun. Or nagpa-promise ka na, oh sige, pag nanalo ko, binoto mo ko, ipapagawa ko yung bahay mo, o ipapagawa ko yung kalsada dito, yung mga ganyan. So, even the act of promising is already considered as vote buying.
So we have to correct the notion na ang vote buying, it involves pera.
Hindi lang,
Hindi
no?
lang pera.
Oo. Even yung mga promises, that is also considered as vote buying. And also, what is also important to remember when it comes to vote buying is, ang gusto mong gawin is hindi lang yung tao na iboto ka, kundi pwede rin na, oh, wag ka nang bumoto. So, the act of voting for or against or not voting at all, that is also considered as vote buying. So,
kapag binayaran kita, wag ka na bumoto ha, vote buying.
Vote buying din yun.
Okay. So, punta tayo doon sa nakapaskil na poster instead na hawakan natin Attorney April.
Oo.
This is the Tagalog version of our poster.
Yes.
Kasi meron tayong 4 versions eh.
Oo.
Ilocano, Bisaya, Tagalog, English. Ito yung Tagalog version. So, after vote buying, there's vote selling.
Yes.
Ano ba yung vote selling, Attorney April?
Yan yung sinasabi natin na yung vote buying, meron niyang partner na election offense. And we call that as vote selling or yung pagbenta ng boto. So, if you let that person buy your votes, that is considered as an election offense, which is vote selling, na hindi na nare-legalize ng mga tao. No? But if you look at under our law, kung pinagbenta mo yung boto because of any promise of employment or because of any expenditure, no, para to your benefit, that is considered as vote selling.
So, Attorney April, kapag binili ko yung boto mo, liable ka for vote selling, ako liable for vote buying.
Yun ang hindi nila alam. So, yun. At least alam nila o malinaw na yun, diba? So, number 3, yan yung tinatawag nating unlawful electioneering. So, na-discuss na natin yan, bawal mangampanya sa mismong araw ng eleksyon, no? Especially if it is within the 30-meter radius kung saan nangyayari yung botohan. So, that is an election offense. Okay, and then we also have yung flying voter. We've already discussed that, no? So, we also have what we call important to, especially dun sa mga indigenous groups or people na tinuruan natin.
Yung mga kapatid nating mangyan sa Mindoro.
Yes, no. Ang madalas nating naririnig na problema is what we call as hakot. Or minsan yung tinatakot sila para hindi na sila bumoto. Or minsan nire-restrain sila sa isang lugar para hindi bumoto. No? That is also considered as an election offense. That can be considered as threats or intimidation. No? Or minsan yung arrest or interference of voters. So, election offense din yun. Kasi hindi mo pwedeng pigilan yung isang tao na bumoto. Or hindi mo pwedeng sabihin or idikta sa kanila kung ano ba yung tao na dapat, or kandidato na dapat nilang iboto o ilagay sa kanilang balota.
Okay.
So, meron din mga ganyang offense, no? Ano pa ba? Voting day, meron din tayong tinatawag na unlawful entry, no? So, meron din tayong mga narinig during the last elections, no? Kasi under law, if you are PNP, military, peace officer,
so, ito yung mga bawal pumasok sa loob ng presinto. Police, sundalo, kapitan, barangay tanod.
Bawal yan sa mga voting or sa mga polling centers, no? Or even 50-meter radius from the polling place. But it doesn't mean na talagang hindi na sila pwedeng pumasok. There are instances like if they are to vote, pwede, syempre, but they just have to leave after voting. Also, kung merong mang talagang disturbance, actual disturbance, syempre, sino ba yung tutulong? Syempre, yung mga peace officers natin. And also, last, if they are allowed by a resolution of the BEI na kailangan ng taong tagabantay dun sa polling place, dapat nandun sila. Pero dapat nasa labas lang, hindi sila pwede sa loob.
So, Attorney April, yung election offense na unlawful entry, ang general rule, bawal pumasok sa loob ng presinto o ng school or within a 50-meter radius ng eskwelahan ang mga sundalo, mga polis, kapitan, kagawad, Diba? Ang exceptions, yung tatlong minention mo.
Yes. Actual disturbance, no? Pagboboto. Or pag kailangan talaga, sinabi ng OBA, kailangan namin ng bantay, no? Na talagang magpapaayos dun sa lugar, pwede rin, no? Silang lumapit. But other than that, hindi na pwede.
Okay.
Siyempre, meron din tayo na yung mga nagka-campaign, yung illegal campaigning ng mga public officials, di ba? They are not allowed to campaign for any candidate, no? Even yung mga military din or yung mga police, bawal din sa kanila yon.
So, unlawful campaigning.
Unlawful campaigning, bawal din publicly.
So, ulitin natin, kapag empleyado ng gobyerno, bawal ka mag-campaign for a certain candidate.
Yes. Publicly. Syempre.
Publicly. So, hindi siya pwedeng pumunta sa rally, sabihin niya na, iboto niyo po si ganito, ganyan. Bawal yun.
Bawal yun. Or itataas lang yung kamay para makita na they are for that candidate. Bawal
unlawful
yun.
Campaigning
Unlawful campaigning yun. Bawal yun sa mga public officials, sa mga government
Pero
officials.
hindi ibig sabihin na bawal ka na tumingin sa isang kandidato, tumingin favorably sa isang kandidato.
Pwede naman because that is your personal right.
That is your right as a citizen.
Yes. Pero yung any partisan political activity, yun ang bawal, no? Siguro touching on din sa mga government officials, no? We have then yung, kasi there was a question of, ano ba yung difference between pag ikaw ay appointed and also if you are unelected in terms of running for the elections, no? There was a case, syempre, during the time, no? That says na if you are an appointed official, once you file your certificate of candidacy, considered ka na as resigned, officially resigned from your position. Which is different from an elective official kasi they get to stay in their position or in their in
Kaya
power.
Kaya diba yung pinag-uusapan last year, kapag natalo naman yung certain candidate, may babalikan pa siya eh. Hindi naman siya considered resigned.
Oo. Like, for example, syempre yung mga senators, di ba? Meron pa silang babalikan, di ba? But always, the issue there, especially yung mga local officials, is their capacity to use yung mga resources ng kanilang offices. Kasi nga, syempre, hawak pa rin nila yung mga pera, yung pondo, o yung mga tao. Last elections, marami tayong na-receive na sinasabi, ginagamit daw yung barangay, yung sasakyan ng barangay for campaigning, no? Or yung resources mismo ng locality, ginagamit nila for their campaign, no? So, actually,
kaya yung ratio, Attorney April, bakit may distinction between the two officials? Elective at appointed.
Mayroong distinction because, first, sinasabi mo na yung tao naman mismo yung pumili for an elective official to be in that position. Sabihin yan yung pinakagusto ng tao. Pero sa appointive, kasi nilagay lang naman sila sa posisyon.
In-appoint lang sila.
Hindi naman na may yung mga tao na bumoto sa kanila, wala namang ganung perspective ang mga appointive officials.
Meron akong sagot dyan na medyo bordering on chismis.
Yes.
Kasi yung elective, syempre, ang naggagawa ng batas natin, mga congressman, mga senator, kapag gumawa sila ng batas, dapat advantageous to them. So, hindi naman pwede nila ilagay na kapag nagtumakbo sila, deemed resigned. At disadvantageous. So, ginawa nila.
Ganoon naman lahat. Even, one thing that I can think of right now is yung dynasty, political dynasty, no? They say na, under our law, syempre bawal siya.
Under constitution.
Bawal. Supposedly, di ba?
Bawal ang political
Pero
dynasty.
syempre, hanggat walang implementing law or yung law talaga na nagsasabi na executing law, no? Na sabing talagang bawal yung political dynasty, hindi naman talaga siya magti-take into effect, no? Under our government. Pero syempre, sinasabi nila, sino ba naman yung papayag? Yung mga tao sa Congress or yung mga Senate, they are part of political dynasties. Diba?
So, balik tayo sa poster natin, Attorney April.
Yes.
So, na-discuss natin yung 1 to 7. Yung next is yung number 8, ang pagtulong sa mga botanteng marunong bumasa at sumulat at ang mga walang kapansanan.
Yes. Bakit ba sinasabi natin yan? Kasi under our law, the only time you can be aided sa pagboto is when you are illiterate or if you are a person with disability. So, why? Because syempre, we have what we call as yung sanctity ng boto, yung confidential dapat yung mga taong binoboto natin. So, unless if you are illiterate or you are a person with disability, you will not be allowed na merong tumulong sa'yo sa pagboto.
Siguro dapat i-define muna natin kung ano ibig sabihin ng illiterate voter. Kasi ang normal natin na definition ng illiterate, basta hindi ka marunong magbasa, illiterate ka na. Under our election law, an illiterate voter is someone who does not know how to read and Right. So, dapat hindi ka marunong magbasa at magsulat.
Yes.
Before you are considered an illiterate voter. At
Yes.
kailangan, doon sa registration mo as a voter, i-check mo na illiterate ka.
Oo. So, kung wala doon sa registration, madalas actually, dapat hindi payagan. Unless yung mga person with disability, kahit wala doon sa registration, if it is really apparent naman, really apparent naman na hindi nila kaya, pwede silang patulungan ng BEI, payagan na tulungan. But under our law, sino lang ba yung pwedeng tumulong, dun sa mga illiterate or person with disability? Sino nga ba, Attorney Ona?
Mga kamag-anak. Kung walang kamag-anak yung illiterate o yung PWD, yung mga taong tinatrust na sa household kung saan siya nakatira. Kung wala yung dalawang yon, BEI or yung Board of Election Inspector.
Yes. Tapos yung mga taong tutulong, they are only allowed to help 3 times. After that, hindi na sila pwedeng tumulong.
Except kung BEI. Kasi kapag BEI, unlimited times yung number na pwede sila mag-assist.
Oo. So, kung yung offense na yan, if you help someone na hindi naman talaga illiterate or hindi naman talaga physically disabled, which is what we saw in Mindanao, when we went there, di ba? Or kung hindi ka naman talaga niya kamag-anak, you're not allowed under our law, hindi ka kamag-anak, hindi ka kasama sa bahay, hindi ka BEI, and then tinulungan mo, that is considered as an election offense.
Attorney April, mawawala na tayo ng oras, pero meron pa tayong 2 election offense. Siguro, pag-usapan natin yung 2 election offense na yan sa susunod na episode. Pero, kailangan malaman ng mga tao ngayon, kung na-commit mo yung election offenses na yan, ano yung penalty?
Oo. Under our law, ang penalty, if you look at number 1 to 8, yun pa naman ang nadidiscuss natin, wala pa sa automated election. Ang imprisonment dyan is not less than 1 year, not more than 6 years. So, 1 to 6 years.
So, may isang general penalty of imprisonment, Attorney April, doon sa mga election offenses.
Sa lahat ng na-discuss natin, yun ang imprisonment.
1 to 6 years.
Yes, kahit gaano man ka-seryoso o kahit gaano man kasimple.
So, yung unlawful electioneering, pag nahuli ko at talagang may nagkaso sa akin, pwede akong makulong na 1 taon, pinakamababa, hanggang 6 years.
Pwede. Actually, si Echeverry, kung talagang mag-pursue talaga na maging guilty siya, he can be imprisoned from 1 to 6 years. Kasi that is the penalty for the illegal posters na dinikit niya during the 2007 elections.
Pero hindi naman siya nagdikit doon, Attorney April.
Ay, kung ma-prove na talagang siya talaga yung nag-direct ng pagdidikit noon, diba? Kasi yun ang lumalabas.
Ano yung penalty pa? For example, you are a candidate.
So, matanggal ka
Tapos
sa posisyon. So, meron ka ring, you will not be allowed to run for elections for a certain number of years. So, may mga ganon, disqualifications na kasama.
Tapos, sandaan natin, kasi meron tayong probation.
Yes.
Pwede, kung normal yan na offense, ang penalty mo is 1 to 6 years, you can apply for probation. Probation, ibig sabihin yan, bababa yung years of imprisonment mo kapag na-approve. Pero, for election offenses, you cannot apply for probation. So, kung ano lang yung sentence
yun
mo...
talaga, 1 to 6 years. So, depende kung anong ibibigay
sa'yo. Pwede ka ma-pardon?
Wala rin.
Wala rin yung pardon. So, kahit malakas ka sa presidente, ipapardon ka. Pero dahil na-convict ka for an election offense, bawal.
Walang gano'n. No? So, we're already running out of time. No? So, marami pang election offenses na hindi natin na-discuss. We'll continue our discussion sa next nating show. Dahil marami pa. And also, ano ba yung mga process for prosecuting election offenses? So, Attorney Ana, any last words?
Siguro tandaan lang natin bakit pinupursue natin yung accountability. We want our people to be educated so that they can be empowered to file cases against election law violators.
Yes.
Kasi we cannot say we have credible elections if there's rampant vote buying and vote selling.
Another
For
election
us,
offense.
to clearly say na credible ang election natin, dapat wala ng vote buying, wala ng vote selling.
Yes, okay. So, thank you for joining us. Please do join us for our next episode. We'll be talking more about other election offenses. Thank you.